We look at a lot of different projects. We read a lot of scripts, and we try to help anybody who's interested in filming with the Navy from the first steps. If they're just developing a script, it helps us if they're just at that stage because they have a lot of questions or they might not know how the military works. So if we can help them with research, we'll help anybody with that.
The Navy was actually amazing. They embraced it before September 11th. And after September 11th, obviously, it became very difficult for them to approve us getting on the base and doing everything we've wanted to do, both on the base and on the ships.
So we were prepping and actually tech scouting when September 11th happened, and being a military movie, it changed everything about how we had to proceed with all of our working with the military.
I was surprised, and security was very tight. And in fact, we were on the ship on the 10th. So when we went back to shoot and scout and all, yeah, security was tight.
They wanted to make sure that we were safe and that they were safe. And yet at the same time, the Navy was very committed to this movie and realizing it was a story that needed to be told and wanted to facilitate as much as they could in a difficult time.
It was so easy to read the script and get excited about it and want to support it. So we were excited that they came to us and asked us if they could film on our bases and use our personnel.
I think it's a testament in wartime right now, which I guess this is, that they're still permitting us to tell our story and use their facilities. And you know, not only obviously are we working around their schedule, but they are truly working around ours as well without putting anyone in jeopardy. And I'll tell you, it feels very safe being here right now. So it's a good thing.
We're on a ship right now, so all the sailors on the ship are asking who Antwone Fisher is. And I just tell them he's a regular sailor like you are. I think they get a kick out of that, and they think that's neat, and they want to talk to him, and I think they're surprised at how unassuming he is.
The Navy is a huge character in my life, in reality, and I'm so proud of my time in the service.
It really is a subculture and a family. It's a team, and you take care of your shipmates. And Antwone came, he was a shipboard sailor. He had a lot of problems getting into fights and not knowing how to deal with people. And luckily, his commanding officer at the time realized that he might need a little bit of help. If somebody's having problems, we take care of our own. And this is a perfect example of it.
You know, it's a strict environment. When you're a civilian and you have an anger problem, as a young adult, maybe you're fighting and you do something out of anger, you know, the police come, then you're on the train tracks, you're in jail, then they get to know you, you have a record. But in the Navy, they have ways of dealing with you also, but at least you don't have a record at the police station. And, you know, they have people who you can talk to, professionals.
We're on an LHA, which is it's an amphibious ship, and a lot of what they do is transporting Marines. It's a flight deck, it's a mini carrier, but it's for helicopters and vertical landing platforms, like the Harriers that the Marines fly. So there are Navy and Marine aircraft that land aboard, but they also have a well deck below that they bring on amphibious assault vehicles, LCACs, which are landing craft air cushion vehicles. So they do a lot of amphibious work with the Marines. It's a very large ship. It's always neat when Hollywood wants to come to the Navy, and it's neat for the sailors who get a chance to be extras. We even had a casting call on the ship for a few minor speaking roles, and I think we had about 100 sailors turn out for that, and they were funny. Some of them were real hams, and some of them were a little shyer, but they wanted to be a part of it, and it's neat to go a year later or whenever the films are released to see that, you know, that they were part of that film and to see their face on the screen for a second or two.
But they were very supportive. I have to really take my hat off to the Department of Defense and the Navy specifically, because they've been over backwards for us. They gave us their equipment. They allowed us to film all over the base. They allowed us to go out on their ships. And, you know, it's not a big budget picture, and we didn't have a whole lot of money to spend, but without their help, you know, we wouldn't have got any of the size or scope.